Just got good spark on it.
A smoke, but got it running.
Alrighty guys, so got a pretty good video hopefully for today. As you can see, many Articats along with the Yamaha Phaser, more Articats, you know, everything else under the sun. Back here actually guys is my 1980 TX 440 hiding underneath that cover right here guys. Trying to resurrect it today. I had this sled, I purchased it I guess down in Illinois last year, and it apparently sat in a trailer for like 15 to 20 years. My buddy bought a bunch of Rupp snowmobiles along with me there, and I ended up picking up this TX 440. But I went through the fuel system a little bit, you know, kind of went through it, and I did get it running, but I never actually drove this snowmobile before guys. So, and it's also been sitting again since last year. So we're gonna try to pull it out today, look it over, try to get it running, and then I'd like to take it on its first voyage, at least in my possession, and see how it actually performs, and hopefully nothing breaks, because we'd like to lake cross race this thing in 2 weeks. So I'll also be putting a tether on it if it kind of turns out okay. But yeah, this thing here, hopefully the first ride in like 20 years. Should be a pretty exciting video if I can get it running and it doesn't take too much. So hopefully the fuel system hasn't gotten all gummed up. I think I did put premium non-ethanol gas in it, and I had cleaned the carbs already and put new fuel lines on it, checked the pickup in the tank. What else? Plugs, I think I changed all that stuff. So we'll just have to see when we get it out and go from there. Alrighty guys, so here is the 1980 TX uncovered out of the back there. Thing's actually in pretty good shape cosmetically, except for the hood's got one crack in it and one scratch. But the seat's pretty nice. Still pretty soft too. You know, the seat cover's not all hard as a carp. You can see it has 952 miles, but I'm pretty sure the speedo does not work, so that's probably inaccurate. The skis are quite rusty. I just sprayed like the skis, and I sprayed all the cross shafts on the suspension and the adjusters in case I have to actually like move it. And I know this track's fairly tight, and there also is like very little Hyfax left, but I'll lube it up before the race if I have to and just send it. But here's the numbers on the tunnel guys, you can take a look at that. But actually in pretty darn nice shape guys. You can see the last time I was on the trails was in Illinois in '93, so honestly it might have sat more than 20 years. I know for sure the guy that I bought it from said this thing hadn't moved in at least 20 years. So, like I said, I had it running last year, but I just put it away. I never even drove the damn thing since I've owned it. So I'm gonna try to get it running. It still has plenty of gas in it yet. And I basically just gotta see if I can get the chokes to work enough to me to start it. The brakes, I need to soak the puck there and get that freed up in the master cylinder, which isn't too bad on these Polarises. I'll just take some of this, and it's all scuzzy, you can see. I'll just kind of soak it. Kind of let that soak in there, and got the throttle moving a little bit better too. That was a little sticky. I think it has the original throttle cable on it, so yeah. I know the key is missing, and we just unplugged it because it's just a normally open, so you just unplug the wires and run it. And then the choke broke, which obviously the brittle choke handles from the 80s. So we just gotta pull it manually on the cables when we choke it, and we'll see if we can get it to fire up. So figured I'd just quick check for spark guys, just by arcing the plugs off the cylinder heads. Obviously you probably want to put an inline spark tester on there, but just got good spark on both. I did try to choke it and start it, but it didn't go. I'm gonna put a little bit of mixed gas down the spark plug holes, see if it goes that way, and see if I can keep it running. Once I get it running, I'll get the camera back on, and we can go for a little ride.
So as you can see, a little bit of smoke, but got it running. Give it a little bit of gas down the spark plugs, and then I had the chokes pulled. Sweet, I got tail light.
440. Had to do a bunch of work to this thing to get it to move. You can see the throttle's working much better. got it running. I think you guys saw that clip of it running. I cleared out most of the smoke now, so it's not so smoky. But main thing was the brakes. Master cylinder was froze, so I had to cut the old grip off, take the old master cylinder. Had a master cylinder off of a 90s EFI Indy that had the same brake line, I guess, thread on the master. So I used the old line, and you can see it's nice and pumped up. And then the pins were all froze, you know, over on the chain case brake caliper setup. So at least now, rotor's free. It can float now, all that stuff. So they are working, they work quite well. I got a tail light, brake light. So we're gonna try taking a little bit of a ride here in a second. I actually wired up a tether. Just popped the key switch out, guys, and actually wired it right in to the existing key switch plug. Just make sure you have a normally open tether. That's normally open when the plunger is on. That's how that works. So when you pull the plunger off, it closes the circuit, which is grounding out the ignition. Especially on a Polaris, that is how that works. So just put that in place of the key. Because the key, I didn't have a key anyways, I just had it unplugged, so I might as well just crimp some spade connectors on and hook it in, and that is working good. I believe I got this tether from Wall Brothers, but it doesn't really matter what you guys get, you know, as long as it's normally open for a Polaris, that will work for you. At least a TX Polaris, guys. I did soak the idle screws on the carb. Those things are pretty scuzzy and rusty, so I got to get those kind of working. The idle's a little bit low when it warms up. But main thing is I got the brakes working. Had to bleed out the brakes, you know, flush all the fluid out. It was disgusting. And like I said, I got some lubricant on the stuff in there, and then brake cleaned it all off and dried it off, so I didn't have all that crap on my brake parts. And yeah, we're gonna take on a little ride and see how she goes. But steering seems to work okay. And like I said, I lubed up the track. I don't know how freed up it is now, but maybe we can give it a shot and see how the suspension works. Pre-mixed at about 32-1. Just like I said, I need a grip for the left side yet. But thank God I had that parts Indy with that other master cylinder, because the other one was just too far gone. You know, it was stuck so bad. Maybe if I would have put it in an ultrasonic cleaner, maybe and boiled it, it might have, maybe I could have worked it free. But I think this was a way better, quicker option. And I only have one beam of the headlight, which is fine for me. I don't really care as long as my taillight works for the race. We're planning on Lake Cross racing this in a week or so. So yeah, skis are fair. I mean, it steers okay, but maybe I can weld up some kind of runners on the bottom, and that could help me steer a little bit better. But yeah, so hopefully I'll strap up the GoPro and we'll go for a little bit of a ride on it. And it'll be the first ride this thing has seen in, I don't know, 20-something years maybe?